Hi there, Aries. Welcome to your end of July 2023 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Okay, pick an additional card to cut the deck. All right. All right, well, the first thing that I want to say is that it feels to me like a situation where this feels like a relationship situation. I try to make it as universal as possible, but sometimes there's a very strong theme one way or the other. No, I guess, I could see it with the work life. I don't know what I was thinking, but the relationship is what really jumped out at me. And it reminds me of the situation where one person in the couple is successful career wise and the other person isn't for whatever reason, doesn't. And sometimes these things happen and it's just like a normal, it's no big deal because one person is just naturally more ambitious. Aries people tend to be very ambitious, and the other person is more into domestic stuff. And it could be like a woman could be the one who's more of the professional person, and the man could be the person who is at home. And sometimes, if people can get rid of those stereotypes and they can just, like, step into whatever it is that they're good at, that would solve a lot of problems. So it has nothing to do with gender. And yet, some people get insecure because they're comparing themselves to the other person, and they're competitive with that person even though that person isn't competitive with them. And it's like the other person's success makes them feel bad about themselves. And I think that there might be circumstances where the person who is envious is not necessarily a bad person, and that they don't love their partner. It's that they have their own issues that are making them, they're finding it difficult to be able to be supportive of their partner's good fortune because of their insecurities. So that was the first thing. And then sometimes, now this is when it can get a little bit toxic, especially, is when the other person starts acting out. Now, sometimes they will say cutting remarks because they're trying to cut the successful person down to size. But sometimes they will cheat. And yes, sometimes they might cheat because they want to throw it in that person's face to make them feel like they're not desirable. But sometimes it's to boost their own ego. So there's so many, boost their self-esteem. So that was the thing when I saw this card as a central theme is the Seven of Swords. This can be a card of someone who is cheating. You see the moon, they're kind of slinking around in the night. It can be physical theft. So if you've had any party and you notice your silverware is missing, and you're like, okay, who stole the silverware? But also, and with a partner, it could be the partner cleaning out the bank account, or it seems like money is being drained from an account, but even in the workplace, any kind of feeling that there's shady dealings, that could be the Seven of Swords, or to me, intellectual theft could be the case as well, where somebody is stealing an idea from you. In the past position, we have the Six of Wands, which is a card of success, recognition. She is standing in the spotlight. There's an audience. This is connected to Leo. So it's that fire sign energy. And as I record this, we are now in Leo season with the sun being in Leo. We have Leo retrograde as well. And it's funny because this is happening. The Leo retrograde is happening in your 5th house of romance. So it can definitely speak to Aries people having to deal with a former love coming back into her life in one way, shape, or form. Now, if that person was like the Seven of Swords, then it would make sense that you would be like very vigilant about it and not just kind of get carried away and like, oh wow, this person can't live without me. I'm so flattered. But this is why I mentioned this particular scenario, because of the Seven of Swords and because of the Six of Wands in the past position, that could symbolize somebody who is maybe finally getting the recognition that they deserve, but then they have to deal with their partner not taking it too well. The higher message is the Page of Swords. So this is the spiritual message, or the spiritual, food for thought, which is, are you aware of what is going on? This can even be like the private eye, the spy card, meaning that the person is researching, or they're kind of documenting what is going on around them. And sometimes this is because they're going to make a case for something or things like that. And Aries is a sign that doesn't really pay attention to small details. Aries is also a very generous sign, and this can attract people that are not necessarily that savory to you, because they can be, takers, people who have no intention of giving of themselves, and they're just kind of like looking for somebody that they can glom onto. So the Page of Swords is about kind of paying more attention to your surroundings, but I mean in your relationships even, not being so oblivious, because you do tend to be a sign that is super active and things like that. It's funny, I saw this, I think it was like a spider that, like, you know how their webs are invisible and you just see like them suspended in the air. I saw this like a little baby spider. I don't know if it showed up on the video, but it's kind of cool. Okay. What's coming in is the Six of Swords. This can be relocation, certainly choosing peace. You may have even gotten caught up in some drama that is connected to this, or intrigue, I would call it, where it's kind of, especially if you're an Aries and you have the moon in Scorpio, I could see that, because that would really kind of stimulate all of those shadow emotions that are always probably in the back of your mind, like, oh my God, if this, I would just like freak out if this happened or if that happened. And then it does happen and you're like, oh, I've got to like see if that person's cheating, and it becomes almost like this way to distract yourself, but it's a negative distraction. And it generates a lot of drama. And sometimes, especially if an Aries person has Venus in Aries, they do tend to have this belief that that's how they're, that relationships are exciting if there's this kind of stuff happening. But that's drama. That's not having a passionate relationship. I said that before, and somebody didn't understand. Somebody wrote on YouTube something like that. Like, relationships aren't supposed to be about passion, they're supposed to be about something practical. I forgot what they said. And when I say passion, I simply mean that the people, they're connected to each other with a sense of, life being more important or bigger because they have joined forces. Sometimes people, when they get together, it's like they're really good. It's like they work really well, career wise. Like, it's like they're a great team, like a professional team. But when it's like romantically, romance to me isn't just like I love you. It's like, wow, life is this magical ride and we're in it together. So it's kind of like having this partner to watch the way, to witness life together. But you may find that it's like kind of negative to hang around that current place where you are, because there might be people who are still there that uh, you feel aren't supportive of you, or memories of things that happen. And but just even like symbolically, you may feel like you have to move on, that everything is too full of conflict for you to feel comfortable anymore. And that can also be in the workplace. If you feel like there's somebody in the workplace who has been very destructive, maybe in a very covert kind of way. What crosses you is the Star card. Now, the Star card is connected to Aquarius, so if this is, if you're dealing with an Aquarius, then this might be further proof or resonance with that scenario. But it's also a card of your hopes. It's faith in unseen forces. And it may be possible that you have been too involved in the world, too involved in material things, to kind of like, or even I would say with Aries, to making things happen, which can be problematic when somebody is too caught up in that. You have to balance taking action with being able to kind of sit back and let things happen. And you may have been too aggressive in it, and things have not really, you may have had initial success, and that could be what the Six of Wands represents. But then if there's somebody who has shown up who is not on your side, that could be also reflected within yourself. Maybe you're not on your own side in certain ways. And it's because you want, Aries, I think part of it is impatience, that you want things right now, and sometimes life isn't going to give you things right now. Are you okay with that? Well, a lot of people aren't okay with that, and they're kind of like, I want this when I want it. The outcome card, the Ten of Swords, is a card of betrayal, but also, I would say, recognizing that something was betrayal. Maybe you still were giving someone the benefit of the doubt, that they were not actually screwing you over. And now you finally realize, yeah, they are screwing me over. This can also be the end of a negative time in your life. And that could actually be a good thing, that now things are going to start to improve. So I picked an additional card. I got the Three of Cups. Now, it's interesting because they have a background that's kind of like a lilac shade. And I get like an Aquarius vibe from this. I don't know. I mean, Cups is water, but you see how this one is Aquarius too, and it's a card of friendship. And that's the house that Aquarius rules. So, this is about connecting with your friends or finding your tribe. And this could be something that you have neglected to do, Aries. Perhaps you've been caught up in a negative relationship and that has isolated you in some way. Maybe you never intended it to do so. It just happened to be that you were doing certain things that kind of guaranteed that there would be isolation. And the great thing is that you have the power to change course if you want to. And you can tap into your support system. And if you say, well, I don't really have a support system, I don't really have a lot of friends, or I don't have any friends, I was kind of like just doing my work and I have my partner, that might be you seeking out that kind of thing in your life. I really think that Aries people in general tend to be quite social because Aries is a fire sign, so it tends to be extroverted. So, realizing the power of other people, and this can also be in regards to any kind of workplace situation. Maybe you need to kind of contact people in your life who are supportive of you because they may know of a job. Perhaps you realize, hey, I have to get out of this situation. Even though I have excelled here, it isn't supportive. It isn't safe for me to stay in this environment. There's just too many haters or what have you. Okay, well, that's what I have for you, Aries. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a personal reading, I'm primarily an astrologer. I have some package deals with astrology interpretation and transits, and one even with the tarot, or a couple with the tarot. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at rainamoonastrology.com. Thank you for watching. Bye.